FBI has fired Peter Strzok. He was the FBI agent who was caught sending text messages, anti-Trump text messages to a lawyer for the FBI by the name of Lisa Page. And so he did testify in front of our lawmakers, and the Trump administration has been going after him aggressively. An investigation found that his anti-Trump bias played no role in the Russia investigation. He was immediately taken off of that investigation as soon as Bob Mueller knew about the text messages. But Trump is capitalizing off of the whole Peter Strzok story, and I believe is using this to further push for certain members of this investigation to get fired. So let me give you some of the recent tweets, and then also we'll talk a little bit about how he's attacking Jeff Sessions again. So Trump had tweeted that fired FBI agent Peter Strzok is a fraud, as is the rigged investigation he started. There was no collusion or obstruction with Russia, and everybody, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, so whatever. Bored, Jesus.
Yeah, I know.
Stop tweeting the same thing, you maniac. He's tweeted that like 1,000,000 goddamn times. All right.
So, by the way, just this quick side note, there has been a GoFundMe page for Peter Strzok, and he was able to raise, or at least this page was able to raise $300,000 in less than a day and a half. I'm sure the number has increased since we last checked. Also, Trump had tweeted, they were all in on it. Clear Hillary Clinton and frame Donald Trump for things he didn't do. Greg Jarrett on Fox and Friends, if we had a real attorney general, this witch hunt would never have been started, looking at the wrong people. Okay, so that was his response to a Fox News segment. He's watching, he's live tweeting. You know, he's not TYT live tweeting, but he's tweeting to Fox
One
News.
Day.
Yeah, and so in that tweet, he went after Jeff Sessions.
Okay, so there's two parts of the story. One is the firing of Peter Strzok. I think it's a terrible idea. What does it do? It encourages them. So far, Donald Trump has attacked James Comey, then fired him. Then he attacked Deputy Director Andrew McCabe, who was fired. Now Peter Strzok, attacked by Donald Trump, fired. What are you doing? You're just encouraging the monster. So everyone he's wrongly attacking, you go, okay, yeah, I don't want it to be a distraction. I don't want the president to tweet about it. That's the reality. You think Christopher Wray looked at this and was like, oh, I think what Peter Strzok did was so bad. He had a political opinion. All right, great, then why don't you fire almost everyone in the FBI? Well, how many people in the FBI voted for Obama? How many of them voted against Obama? By all accounts, the majority of FBI agents are Republicans. So should we fire every Republican in the building? Did they ever say anything bad about Obama in their private lives as Strzok did in his private life? My guess is overwhelmingly. So we're gonna go on a witch hunt and fire everyone who says something bad about Obama or Hillary Clinton? Are you kidding me? You'd have to fire most of the FBI probably at that point. How about Bernie Sanders? Now, Peter Strzok had terrible things to say about Bernie Sanders. I think Bernie Sanders is a great candidate. Do I think Strzok should be fired for that? No. Because of course they have political opinions. So all they did was they took those texts and they blew them out of proportion. And it's so obviously brazenly political. And the fact that we have to have these nonsense conversations as if we're not adults and we don't know what's going on. And then they get encouraged by Christopher Wray, you schmuck, they're looking to fire and imprison you. Do you know that the director of the FBI is of course a Republican, Chris Wray, okay? He's the one that just fired Strzok. Jerry Falwell Jr. is talking about how he should be imprisoned. Not just fired, imprisoned. So go ahead and encourage them like an idiot. How many times have we seen this movie? Now it's Republicans doing it. Usually it's Democrats who are like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. Even though you're totally wrong and I'm totally right, I'll fire the person. I'll get rid of them because it's a distraction. It's such cowardice and weakness. So, all right, so it's the Republicans that are doing it now at the FBI. They'll come for you next, you idiot. Now, let's go to the tweet, not the same thing about collusion, but the other one where he says, I wish we had a real attorney general. I mean, we've gotten used to a lunatic for president, an absolute lunatic. In my lifetime, I've covered politics for several decades now. No president attacks his own attorney general in public. That's insane. That's insane. And says, you're not a real attorney general. And what did he call? He's called him weak and ineffectual, etc. over the weekend. Who does that? What kind of maniac does that? And okay, put aside the fact that he's clearly mentally unstable. Put that aside for a second. We're putting that aside for the president of the United States. Okay, now the second part of it is, hey, come on, man. Unless you're a totally dishonest actor or a sad, pathetic, brainwashed MAGA dude, okay, why do you think if he hates Sessions so much that he's not firing him? If he was worried about Sessions for other reasons, not to cover his own ass, but he is concerned that he's not doing a good job as Attorney General. Does Donald Trump not know how to fire people? I thought that's how he got famous, by firing people on Apprentice. He's fired plenty of people from the White House. Why didn't he just fire Jeff Sessions? He doesn't fire him because it's obviously to cover up for his crimes. And he would be charged with obstruction of justice if he fired his own Attorney General where the Justice Department was investigating him.
I mean, he would fire Jeff Sessions simply because Jeff Sessions recused himself.
And so, and that is why he keeps insulting him, trying to get him to quit so that he could say, well, I didn't fire Sessions. Okay, he happened to quit. So, and I happen to find some lackey, he's out of lackeys. A lot of them have turned on him. Maybe Rudy Giuliani, maybe he'll appoint one of his idiot sons or something. Okay, Donald Trump Jr. is the new Attorney General. Guess what? He fires Rosenstein and he fires Mueller. I'm cleared. You can't see this as political. If you can't see this as pathetic, political, you're in one of a couple of categories. One is you're a MAGA guy who just doesn't care. You're a loser, and all you care about is my guy, my guy, my guy, and you don't care about facts at all. You're pathetic. Or there's a lot of folks in the mainstream media who are like, he says this and she says that. I don't know why they fired Strzok. I don't know why they want to fire Sessions. Now, look, a lot of them point out.
A lot of them are
that there's a good reason why he's threatening Sessions and trying to bully him, etc. But overall, even they're pulling their punches. It's super obvious what's happening. And when they pull their punches, we get into a false debate. This isn't a debate. Donald Trump clearly wants to end the investigation. He says it every goddamn day. It's an investigation of him. If the FBI was investigating you, do you think you could just end it? Be like, hey, you know what? I'm tired of this.
Yeah, you could just fire the people doing the investigation.
Yeah, well, hey, the FBI is looking into me for what? Money laundering or doing whatever other nefarious acts. I fire you. Or you try to somehow get the prosecutor fired. That would obviously be obstruction of justice, and you go to prison for a long, long time. I'm so tired of it. 2 easy ways to follow the Young Turks. One is hit the subscribe button down below, then you're a TYT subscriber. And second is ring the bell. And when you do that on YouTube, you're notified of our videos.